Hi everyone. Yesterday I made a video about my electric bike, Lectric XP, a foldable e-bike, unboxing and impression. This is a second video. In my first video, I was unboxing and testing the bike. Somehow I messed up the setting. The motor won't engage. So I contacted Lectric. Then they said I need to just reset the controller. So they send me the default value for all these P settings. And I reset it, everything works. So this is what they sent to me from P01 to P20. Anything above P20, this is not available on my bike. And once you change the number to what they're showing, then it works. But I don't know what these numbers are supposed to mean from most of them. So I did more research in the electric bike forum. I found somebody posted photos of each setting and what it's supposed to mean. I find it very interesting. Just want shown here and share with everyone. Start with the first one. You can see 01, 02, 03, 04. There are 4 settings. The first setting is display. This is in the menu. 1 means the darkest, 3 is the brightest. I was adjusting this on the day 1. It was too bright at the night. I changed it to 1 and everything works. 2 is metric or mile. Here in the US it's 1, so just change to 1. The number here is 0, but you need to make it a 1. The third one is the place where I messed up my bike. This is the battery voltage type 24, 36, 48, 60. Somehow I changed that to 60. That's why when I charge the battery overnight, it's showing not fully charged. It's not even half full, because it's expecting 60 volts. It's nowhere near that 60 volts. P4 is a sleeping time, so if you're not doing anything to the bike will shut itself off. The number vary between 0 to 60. The default is 10. Feel free to change it to any number you want. Number 5 is a gear number. This is default to 2, so the bike has a 7 gear, so that's 2. It's 0 to 9 gear. If you change to a different number, it probably will mess up the bike. Number 6, we can't change that. It's rim size. This is a 20-inch bike, so it should be at 20. If you change to a different number, all the calculation will be messed up, basically. Just don't change this number. Number 7 is a motor magnetic pole ratio. I'm not sure what this is supposed to mean. So a lot of these settings, when I look at it, even though there's an explanation, I don't know what it's supposed to mean. If you know, please leave a comment so everyone can understand it. Number 8 is the speed limit. This is in the manual, I think. This is in kilometer, not miles. So if it's at 65, divided by 1.6 will translate this number into miles. It's roughly like 43 miles. This number can go all the way to 100, but the motor is not power enough to go to 100. For default, you can just set that to 32. That should be that's 20 miles. That's the limit for Class 2 e-bike. P9 is a start mode, 0 start or non-zero start. The default is 0, means I'm guessing if you use throttle, when bike is still, then you can start from 0 speed. Otherwise, the bike needs to have certain speed in order to use throttle. P10 is an option, because this bike can be either in assisted mode or throttle, or both. This is where you can select which one you want. The default is 2, means both are available, either pedal assist or throttle. If you only want the throttle, say no pedaling, then you can just change that to 1. Otherwise, change it to 0 for just pedaling and no throttle. Sometimes people find the throttle annoying. The throttle twist is pretty close, pretty big. It can accidentally engage the motor. P11 is a sensitivity for the pedal assist. You want this to be sensitive, so it's more responsive. The 1 is most responsive. You can change it, play with a different number, see how much sensitivity it is reduced. And the P12 is pretty useful one. It's a strength of the pedal assist. So if you think, say, at pedal assist 1, the motor is too powerful, you can change the number from 5 to a smaller number. 1 is the weakest, 5 is the strongest. The setting here is 5. Make it a 3, then it's moderate. It will be less strong. P13 is a sensor type. This bike has a cadence sensor 12 points. This needs to be at 12. If you change that to 5 or 8, it's not going to read all 12 sensors. It's only going to read a 5 or 8. Then the bike becomes less sensitive. That's not what you want. P14, it's a controller current limit. This is a limit the amp output. The setting is 20. Here is default is showing 13, but this it is based on the manual. You can set this at 20, so the controller won't output more than 20 amps to the motor. Otherwise, it will fry the motor potentially. P15 is a useful number. This is where the range is. This is related to the range and the battery life. The 42 is the minimum is a minimum battery voltage. Once battery reached this level, it will no longer engage the motor. Means that's the maximum range you can get once the battery dropped to 42 volts. If you move this number higher, your range will be reduced. If you move the voltage lower, your range likely going to be a little bit longer, but it will create some damage to the battery. So I guess the 42 the default setting is 41.5, so it's about 42. That's kind of the balance they find out from the manufacturer. 16 is the odometer. You can set odometer to 0 if you want. Not terribly useful. P17 is auto cruise. I didn't know there's such an option. This is cruise control, similar to the cruise control in the car. If you keep a speed for 6 seconds, it will keep going at that speed. So that's pretty useful if you're riding in the street with nobody. But the default is 0. It's no engagement of auto cruise. The 18 sets speed indication. I'm not sure what the speed indication means. It's at 100%. 19, I don't really quite understand. It's no gear or has 0 gear. This bike has a 7 gear. I'm not sure what 0 gear means. P20 is a communication agreement type. This cannot be changed. Otherwise, the bike won't even run. So this has to be at 0. This is the specific type. That's all the settings for this bike. The rest in the next page, I did a quick estimate of the bike range. I see a lot of people asking about the range of the bike, and then not sure how there's no agreement on the answer. So so far I only have like 6-7 miles on my bike, so it's difficult for me to say what the range is. What I did is based on some numbers to do a rough estimate. So let's start with the battery first. The battery is rated at 48 volts and 10.4 amps. This gives you roughly 500 watt hours or 0.5 kilowatt hours. As a reference, If you've seen Tesla Model 3, the long range version, that's 75 kilowatt hours. That's 150 times of this battery size. Alternatively, if you look at iPhone, the smaller one also has a battery. That's about 15 watt hours. The iPhone is 5 volts and 3000 milliamp or 3 amps hours. So that's 15 watt hours, or roughly 1/33 of the battery. So in theory, if you use electric battery to charge your iPhone, you can charge it 33 times. The cost of electricity, so the nationwide average is about 13 cents per kilowatt hours, assuming there's loss of efficiency, 85% efficiency. Then each charge of the battery from 0 to 4 costs about 8 cents. That's kind of the number you can use if you want to see how much savings you can get out of this bike by not driving in a meaningful way. To estimate the range, so what I find is the LCD actually has a couple indicators that's pretty useful. You can use to estimate the range. You can do this on your own, but this is what I did. If you press the mode, it will start with odometer, then change to trip. The next one is voltage. The next one is current. So we're going to use the voltage and the current to estimate the range. The voltage, I notice, it's fairly stable. When my battery was fully charged, it's 54. Now it dropped to 50. I guess once you drop to 42, it will stop. But average, let's say, it's about 48. And then when I'm doing pedal assist level 1 with 4th gear in the derailleur, the speed is about 10 miles. What I notice, if I go more than 10 miles, then the motor won't engage. At 10 miles, that's about the maximum it can go. And the current is about 2 amps. So at the 2 amps, the current power and consumption is about 48 volts times 2 amps. That's 96 watts, or about 100 watts. The battery is 500 watt hours, means if you use 500 watts power, you can run 1 hour. At 96 watts, you can do a little bit more than 5 hours. And the speed is 10 miles, so 5 hours at the 10 miles give you about 50 miles in the range. This is one extreme. The other extreme, of course, is going full throttle. The current is set to 20 amps. When I tested, it will go to 20 amps at the speed of 20 miles. That's the legal speed of the class 2 in the setting, class 2 bike in the setting. So 20 amps at 20 miles per hour. So the power consumption is pretty high at 20 amps. 48 volts times 20 amps, that's 960 watts, almost 1,000 watts. The battery is only 500 watt hours divided by 960 watts. It's less than half an hour. Less than half an hour, you're going at 20 miles an hour. That's roughly 10 miles in range. This is another extreme. However, the motor is only rated normal 500 and the peak 800 watts. So even though you're sending 960 watts to the motor, it won't necessarily take all that. And there's efficiency loss as well. Also, you won't be able to go full throttle all the time. So the realistic range is probably longer than 10 hours, but this is a definite. If you go all these extreme, you can definitely get 10 miles for the range. So what they said, the range between 20 to 50 miles in the manual is reasonable in my opinion. This is all I have for this video. In the future, I will make another video about my impression of the bike and what I like and what I don't like. Hope you enjoy it. Leave a comment. Thanks. Bye.